Alright guys, welcome to this course on Python Data Science for Beginners. In this course, we're going to explore more about the different data types and data structures that we have in Python, because knowing how our data is structured and what is the data type is actually one of the fundamentals that we need to know before moving on to more Pythonic way of doing things, right? So let's take a look at the content of our course here, alright? So we're gonna start off by what is Python, alright? Next, we're gonna download and configure our Python with Anaconda, and then using Jupyter Notebook as our learning platform, alright? Next, we're gonna create a IPython notebook file. That is a file that can be interpreted using a Jupyter Notebook, right? Next, we're gonna talk about how do we define functions. Defining functions is more like a systematic procedure whereby the function could consist of a series lines of codes to be executed once the function is called. And then we're gonna talk about functions with keyword arguments, which allows user to input a few optional arguments into the functions so that the functions would be executed according to what have been added as the input arguments. Next, we're gonna talk about the class objects. So a class here is sort of like a classification of different objects. For example, I'm an instructor, you are a student. We can create two different kinds of class to classify me as the instructor and the rest of the audience will be my student, right? And we're gonna talk about the list data structure that is in Python. So list is actually an array in C++ programming language, right? It's basically like an array, and we're gonna talk about the append versus extend differences in a Python list. Next, we're gonna talk more detail about numeric lists. What can we do with a numeric list? How do we perform numeric operators in a numeric list? So on and so forth, right? And lastly, we're going to talk about the data dictionary structure in Python. So dictionary here consists of a pair of keys and values. So we're going to bind the information that we have into a numbers of keys and values, so that when we look up into the dictionary, we can search for the key to get our required values, right? Without wasting any more time, let's straight on into what is Python, alright? So, yep, once again, thanks for enrolling into this course, and I hope to see you in the next module. Thanks and bye-bye.